This is video 1 in our 4-part series on the EUNorth within the Nordic region. Countries within this region are identified by their respective flags. The EUNorth is bordered to the west by the Atlantic Ocean, to the north by the Norwegian Sea, and south by the Baltic Sea. Germany, Poland, and Belarus are across the Baltic, and Russia is to the east. Starting off with Norway, which is located on the eastern side of Sweden with other land borders of Finland and Russia in the north. Norway is also separated from another EU country, Denmark, by a strait, and Norway contains vast rugged coastlines and major mountains consisting of Scandinavian mountain ranges. The capital of Norway is Oslo, located southeast of the country and accompanies 5.43 million people, where you can see the population is distributed, however is very concentrated in that Oslo city center. The distribution to the right indicates a stable and a steady population with very fewer recent births, ultimately leading to a smaller volume of the future workforce. Norway has a trade surplus and exports at greater value than they do import. They export things such as gas and petroleum, as well as fresh seafood such as fish, while importing more refined petroleum, cars, and nickel. Major importers are China, Sweden, and Germany, while major exporters are the UK and Germany. Norway is a combination of both a free market and government intervention, which influences their trade with European countries. In regards to trade with the United States, you'll see that there's been a major import growth over the last year, and it was due to inorganic and organic chemicals, electrical machinery, and electronics, while major export growth was contributed by their abundance of fresh fish, nickel articles, as well as mineral fuels, mineral oils, and products of their distillation. It's clear that exports were more abundant than the imports. Roads and railways are frontrunners of infrastructure development, and the Norwegian government plans for a financial framework of 1,200 billion Norwegian krone for their project in new infrastructure, maintenance, and digitalization. They're shifting more freight to rail in hopes to strengthen their cross-border railway connections and are increasingly adding area and energy-efficient means of transportation. Several Norwegian companies operate in the United States. DNV, Equinor, and Hydro are all accompanying services for oil and gas and renewable energy. Telenor is among some major telecommunication companies offering internet and cable access. Aker is an investment company concentrated in green technology, industrial software, seafood, and marine biotechnology as well. The European Economic Area allowed for Norway and their involvement in the single market, leading to their extending provision in EFTA. Norway has also been a member of WTO since 1995, a member of GATT since 1948. They're a founding member of NATO, a part of the UN, which also helped further explain why Norway is more invested and connected with other EU countries. The next Nordic country is Denmark, which lies southwest of Sweden, south of Norway, and north of Germany. The only land border of Denmark is that with Germany. The capital city of Denmark is Copenhagen, which is located on the island of Zealand with a population of 5.8 million people. There's an influx of population to the east of the country in very close proximity with Sweden, and the population has declined recently but seems to be increasing again. The current working class is most abundant in the age range of 25 to 35. Denmark's imports include crude and refined petroleum, cars, electricity, while some prominent exports include packaged medications and pig meat. Medicinal and healthcare products are a major economic gain from exportation in Denmark, and the most common destinations for those exports are Germany, the United States, and Sweden. The most common imports are from Germany, Sweden, and the Netherlands. When trading with the United States, import growth from the U.S. was led by crude and refined petroleum, other fuels, and plastic products, and export growth to the United States was due to the high exportation of packaged medicaments, vaccines and cultures, medical instruments, refined petroleum, and coal tar oil. U.S.-Denmark imports were 663 million, and U.S.-Denmark exports were 751 million. There are 912 Danish companies employing 78,000 people in the United States, from Lego and Pandora, which we're familiar with, Carlsberg, a brewing company, Vestas, a wind industry promoting renewable resources, Novo Nordisk, a global healthcare company, Genmab, biotechnology company, and Maersk, a Danish shipping and logistic company. Denmark's infrastructure is extensive, with a plan in 2035 of more than 22 billion euros. It would be the largest infrastructure plan in the history of the Scandinavian country, including 8 tunnel projects. There's investments and initiatives being put in place in public transportation to reduce noise, improve road safety, and also increasing charging infrastructures. Denmark is a full member of the EU and WTO, which is a primary focus of Denmark and the EU's trading policy. They are part of the EFTA and GATT, and the main task of the OSCE is to define common standards for intergovernmental behavior and for relations between citizens and the government. Now to hand it off to Brian.
Our next country is Sweden, located between Norway to the west and Finland to the east. Denmark and the Baltic Sea are located in the south, and the Gulf of Bothnia separates Sweden from Finland. Russia is located to the east. The capital is Stockholm, located on the southeast coast, consisting of 14 islands dating back to the 1200s and the time of the Vikings. The population is 10.55 million, concentrated in the southern part of Sweden. Sweden has a steady, balanced population and strong workforce between the ages of 30 and 45. The reduction in birth rate in recent years will lead to a smaller future workforce. Sweden has a high cost of living with a VAT of 25%, one of the highest worldwide. Sweden's imports and exports are relatively balanced at 194 billion and 190 billion. That's an increase for both of over 40 billion in the last 5 years. Top exports are refined petroleum, cars, packaged medicaments, and electricity. The top export countries are Germany, the United States, followed by Norway, Denmark, and Finland. The top imports are crude petroleum, cars, and refined petroleum, coming from Germany, the Netherlands, Norway, China, and Denmark. The US is the third highest trade partner at 15.3 billion, behind Norway and Germany. Imports from the US total 7.08 billion, driven by crude petroleum at 666 million and petroleum gas at 296 million, followed by vaccines. Exports to the US total 17.8 billion, driven by vaccines and life sciences at 629 million, cars at 573 million, and finished goods such as plastic, paper, wood, and refined petroleum. Sweden's developments in the areas of life sciences, pharmaceuticals, medical devices, and alternative energy make Sweden a critical partner for U.S. investment. The companies depicted here operating in the U.S. contribute to the overall total U.S. imports and exports. Sweden signed a transportation infrastructure plan investing 86.6 billion over the last 5 years, adding cleaner and more efficient modes of transportation, expanding the centralized railway system to both the west and the north, and improving the ability to move freight via railway. The internet access is strong throughout the country at over 90%, providing opportunity for online marketing. Sweden is a founding member of the Nordic Council and European Free Trade Association. They are part of the European Economic Area, accounting for high exports and imports within the Nordic region and the EU. While Sweden has historically been neutral during world wars, they are the newest member of NATO in 2024 behind Finland. Our last country in the EUNorth region is Finland, located to the east of Norway and Sweden, across the Gulf of Bothnia and adjacent to Russia. The Finnish capital is Helsinki, located on the southern coast. The population of 5.5 million is concentrated in the southern part of Finland. Finland has a steady, balanced population and a strong workforce between the ages of 25 and 45. Similar to Norway and Sweden, the reduced birth rate will lead to a smaller future workforce. From a trade perspective, Finland's imports of 91 billion slightly exceed the exports of 89.9 billion. Top exports of refined petroleum, paper, and large rolled stainless steel are exported to Germany, the United States, and Sweden, all above 9 billion, and China at 5 billion. Top imports of crude petroleum, refined petroleum, cars, and electricity are sourced from other Nordic countries, Sweden and Norway, Germany, and China. Exports to the United States total 2.94 billion, consisting of mineral fuels and oils at 594 million, paper articles at 292 million, and pharmaceuticals at 206 million. These far surpass the imports, which total 1.28 billion, consisting of mineral fuels and oils at 828 million, and ships and boats at 167 million. The following companies operating in the U.S. contribute to the overall import imports and exports for Finland. They include the areas of technology, telecommunications, fuel, equipment, and insurance. Finland has an extensive infrastructure and transportation plan for the next 12 years that was adopted in 2021. It was focused on freight, investment, and transport through improvements to railways and roadways. The infrastructure costs are on average of 2.4 billion. 96% of households have internet access, leading to opportunity for marketing. Similar to other EUNorth countries, Finland is part of the EEA, focused on trade across the EU and Asia. Due to Finland's proximity to Russia, they have historically conducted bilateral trade through trade and cooperation agreements between Moscow and Helsinki. In January, that agreement was terminated by Russia, and Finland is one of the recently admitted NATO countries. Here are our sources. This concludes part one of our four-part series on the EUNorth, exploring Nordic business opportunities. During our next series, we will discuss the culture that contributes to the EUNorth countries' high happiness rating.